So can that awesome Dallas defense be able to hold down the awesome Philadelphia offense? Does a change in head coach do any good for the Panthers? And since when did sacking the quarterback get you a personal foul? Well, we're going to try to find out the answers to those questions and many others as we get you ready for week 6 in our fantasy league and in the National Football League in general. It's time once again for another edition of Fantasy Football Fever starting right about now. Hey, what's good, everybody? It's Fantasy Football Fever time once again. It is October 11th, 2022, and we are going into week 6 of our regular season series right here. Glad to have y'all with us. I, of course, am Tim McClellan, and with me right here, the host of Hooked on Sports, it's John Flynn. How you doing?
Hey, Tim, what's going on?
Not a whole lot here. Uh, I understand that you've got something to talk about, but we'll get to that later. Be sure to click on one of the links in the description area so you can listen to Hooked on Sports with John Flynn. And of course, joining us is, of course, our league commissioner, Mr. John Natali. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, feeling slightly a little bit more optimistic. Time for a renovation of my roster. It's time for a new beginning. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I
Both,
understand.
both of you need changes because, as well as two others, because there are 4 teams in our league that are 1-4, so all of them need to make huge changes.
Yeah,
And the tally, yeah, and I believe Natalie made a big splash today. So
We'll
so
see how that. I just made a couple of changes on mine, so hopefully those changes will be good. Well, what do you know? Already she is on. She is watching the show right now. My gal pal Brandy in Oklahoma. How you doing, Brandy?
Oh,
Good to see ya. Yeah, this lady just wanted to say hello. Oh, well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. If you want to stick around for a little while, you can. If not, that's okay. But I'm glad you just said hello. One of my friends here. I think I've known this woman now since wow, about 20
since you were
years.
kids?
Good. I'm not that long, but it's been a pretty long time. Probably since I was living in Missouri for a long time back in the 2000s.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and I started chatting with her, and everything's been good. So, Brandy, you just tell the hubby I said hello, and take care of yourself, and just keep watching. If you want to, I don't know if you're that big on football, but I'm just glad you said hello to me. So, anyway, with that, let's go ahead and do a little recap of of our uh, our action from last week here. Let's go ahead and get that up, get it up here. There it is. That's the screen I want to share here. Basically, the matchup I had with Alex Putnam, it basically came down to last night's game between the Chiefs and the Raiders, and somehow Putnam just pulled ahead of me and took the victory from me by a score of 132.42 to 123.96. Putnam is now 4-1, and of course I dropped to 1-4. Those 30.3 points from Josh Jacobs was a huge difference right there. We also had our buddy Dino. He took down Nick last week by a score of 146.06 to 103.04, which puts Dino at 4-1, dropping Nick to a record of 2-3. We had Adam taking down Andrew by a convincing score of 160.38 to 131.78. Andrew is 1-4. Andrew is 3-2.
So that's 3 in a row for Adam after starting 0-2.
Not bad, not bad. Of course, big Patrick Mahomes, of course, had that big night last night. It was the Mahomes Kelsey show. That Monday night game it was pretty interesting right there. We had Casey taking down Mr. Natali here by a score of 125.48 to 105.16.
Wow, the Cowboys defense gave him 27 points, which was the difference in that matchup.
Why did I drop them? He picked them of all people.
Yeah, and that's the reason why you lost.
Yeah, I left Brees Hall on the bench too.
Yeah. And then finally, once again, biggest numbers for this week once again goes to our man Flynn, 182.06 over Irene's score of 137.34. Irene is 1-4, while Mr. Flynn still is the only undefeated team in our league at a perfect 5-0. Yeah, we do have
notice that my top 3 performers, none of them were the quarterbacks. I got 35 points from Austin Eckler, 33.5 from Kelsey, and 24.2 from Stephon Diggs.
Pretty good numbers indeed right there. So
yeah, and I've scored, so I'm close to 9. I've averaged 179 points a week through the first 5 weeks, and so 895 points. The next highest cumulative total is 725, which is 170 more than the next. So I have been dominant so far.
yes, I definitely say you have. And as we go ahead and look forward to week 6 coming up, looking at our matchups for the coming week. Looks like it's going to be me versus Adam. Right now, my projected total is 109.5 and Adam at 136.5. I do have to make a lot of changes. In fact, all of us will probably have to make some changes because, of course, this is the first week of bye weeks in the NFL.
Yeah,
and
I know none of my starters are on bye this week, so I don't have to. As I did make one change, because of the matchup, but other than that, I'm looking good.
Yeah, and we'll get into the bye weeks here in a little bit, and we have this week's matchup. We got KC against Andrew. Right now, Andrew is projected at 130.8, while KC is at 119.7. We now have Natalie taking on Miss Irene, and that's a pretty close projection right now. 144.8 for Irene and 142.7 for John Natalie. We're going to have Flynn going up against Nick here. Flynn's projected at 157.4. Nick right now at 134.3.
This is the matchup to watch for this week, with both teams at 4-1.
Yeah. The matchup for 4-1. That's Dino versus Alex Putnam. And right now, Putnam has a slight edge on projected totals at this moment, 132.3 to 130.3. So this is basically the matchup that I will definitely be keeping my eye on. Besides my own matchup with my fellow Texan, Adam Oliver right there. I got to somehow get out of this 1-4 slump. So we got 1-4 for me. Andrew's at 1-4. Natalie's at 1-4. and Irena's at 1-4. So yeah, we're gonna have to make a lot of changes in our league this week. So that's pretty much our preview right there. Now, before we go into our NFL picks for this week, there is one serious hot topic we got to get to. If any of y'all watch the games, what did Brandy say? She watched the show only if the Chiefs are mentioned or the 49ers.
Actually, the two teams face each other next week.
Well,
So
how about that? Yeah, I
yeah.
hadn't even, that'll be next week. But Chiefs or Niners? Oh, okay. Well, all right then. Well, anyway, before we were interrupted there, a very serious issue coming up in recent day or so. A case where two quarterback sacks each got personal fouls called against them, and Flynn, I've been waiting. You've been talking to me. You talked to me earlier today. You spoke with me a little bit earlier, right before the show. So, Flynn, I'm just going to give you the floor on this. I cannot wait to hear this. You people might learn something out there. It's all you,
Yes.
Flynn. Go.
So there were two instances of roughing the passer calls that never should have been called roughing the passer. So it's in the game between the Bucks and the Falcons. Star pass rusher Grady Jarrett was called for roughing the passer, even though it wasn't particularly even though it wasn't particularly close on that. It gave Tampa a first down and basically ended that game. And also there was in last night's game, Chris Jones sacked a Raiders quarterback Derek Carr. So it was a strip sack fumble. It was recovered by the Chiefs, but it was called back due to roughing the passer penalty, and the restless crowd at Arrowhead was booing the refs the entire time. But this is a disgrace. This is pathetic, and this is how the NFL responded to the entire Tua fiasco. So because look, if you remember a few years ago, the NFL decided to overreact to a non-pass interference call in the NFC Championship game between the Rams and the Saints, and so for the 2019 season, the coaches were allowed to challenge non-pass interference calls or lack thereof. But you know, given the NFL, given that the NFL wants to get things right, it was coaches only succeeded about 10% of those challenges, and never went that route. So now there are calls to challenge roughing the passer calls, but that's never going to happen. Or that's what I think the NFL is going to do. That's what I would not do. So because they want a small PR victory and deflection for how they completely botched the Tua Tagovailoa situation. And the reality of the situation of this is that there are going to be more egregious roughing the passer calls over the course the rest of the season, because obviously the Tua situation was terrible, and of course the controversial calls reignited that that sentiment. So I think I fear the NFL is going to overreact even further to this. And I think the NFL reacted to the wrong issue with the entire situation. That the NFL thought it was that they were reacting to protecting the quarterback. No. So they were what the fans like myself and like what Tim and Natalia were reacting to was how the NFL and the Miami Dolphins completely botched the Tua situation. And supposedly the investigations said that they were clear that they followed all protocol, but I have a hard time believing that. So I think with all that being said, I just think that the NFL is going to go overboard and zap the fun out of playing defense and zapping the fun out of sacking the quarterback and look that there's going to be an emphasis on that, and I think every defensive coordinator needs to know. Needs to know that, and one of the things people are saying why there's no defense. Well, it's things like these that the NFL feels it's over necessary to protect the quarterback without while sacrificing the integrity of the game. So I'm done with that. I think there's going to be more issues like that throughout the rest of the season, and just hope that you're not on the wrong end of anything close to upping the passer.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Natalie, got anything to say for that?
Yeah, he pretty much summed it up perfectly. The refs have been all over the place lately. I mean, granted, I'm no fan of Brady at all, and sometimes he can be a bit of a baby, but this time the refs screwed up big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I heard Stephen A. Smith earlier on ESPN this morning say it's going to get to a point where they're just going to put flags on the quarterbacks and just make it flag football, I guess.
Yeah, they better not do this like when it comes to the playoffs, or the Super Bowl especially.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be like riots and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Flynn earlier mentioned that NFC Championship game between the Rams and the Saints. I mean, oh my God, that was a blatant pass interference call that was never called, and everybody's been in an uproar about that ever since.
Yeah,
so
I don't feel bad for them, for the Saints, because remember they did have a 13-0 lead. They had multiple trips inside the Rams 10-yard line, and they settled for field goals. And eventually it was going to bite them in the ass if they converted those. And I think the first possession of the game, I think Jared Goff got picked, and the Saints were only able to settle for a Will Lutz field goal.
Yeah, that's true. But we'll just have to see what goes on with this pass interference, or I mean, roughing the passer bull crap going on here. We'll look at that pretty soon. But go ahead and get this screen. I haven't even got the screen ready here. So ill prepared here.
Yeah, and also a couple of other topics I think that are worth mentioning was the news that broke yesterday that the Carolina Panthers fired Matt Rule as the head coach. And look, that I mean, Natalia, I mean, remember we were on this podcast a couple of years ago, and I was giving a lot of accolades to Matt Rule for his ability to change the culture, that he's a proven culture changer, and he did that in college in Temple. He did that in the Big 12 with Baylor, and then I thought he was going to do the same thing with the Panthers, but I was proven to be dead wrong on that, and the Giants wound up with Joe Judge instead, but then Judge got fired, and here we are with Brian Daboll, and the Giants are now 4-1. And look, the Panthers are gonna have to rebuild here. I mean, I thought they were gonna have to. They started rebuilding in 2020. They're gonna have to start all over again. I think they're gonna have to trade pieces. I think DJ Moore is an expendable trade chip. I think if Joe Shane can figure out how to get DJ Moore on the roster with the salary cap stuff, I think the Giants make a lot of sense. I think a team like the Bears makes a lot of sense to help with their rebuild.
Now I think the Panthers now stuck with McAdoo now. Isn't he?
Oh
Is he
yeah, Ben McAdoo is the offensive coordinator. We all should have known there was a disaster. And this is the thing with like four out of every five coaches that they don't have brains. Josh McDaniels doesn't have a brain. I knew that was going to be a bad hire from the get go. The Raiders are now 1-4, and they
Wow. Oh, I think Flynn just froze up a little bit.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Yeah. Man, look at this. Well, hold on. Look at this. Hold on. Let me put that in there.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, just right in mid phrase, he just freezes up right there.
Yeah.
A face only a mother could love. Hey, we love the guy too. I think he sent me a message. Hang on, so he's coming back in. So y'all just sit tight here. We'll get him back in the thing and we'll start our predictions here.
Okay.
So of course, before we get too far into predictions, we always challenge you people out there. We want you to make your picks as we make our picks. See if you can pick them better than we can.
Yeah, and also fantasy questions too.
Oh yeah, fantasy questions. If you're watching us either on YouTube or on Twitch, post a question. We'll pop it up there, and we'll do our best to answer that question for you.
Just don't ask us anything about the Lions, the Titans, the Texans, or the Raiders, since they're the 4 teams that are on the bye this week.
The
bye weeks are officially underway.
Yep,
that's right.
And I made sure to include those teams with 5 weeks on the graphic with all the spreads that we're working with. But as I was saying before my internet cut out on me, that four out of every 5 coaches in the NFL don't have brains.
Right.
I was talking about McDaniels and how he never learned a thing from his experience with the Broncos or learning with the Patriots. He's a fake Belichick tough guy. And Mark Davis is the problem there, that he can never get the hire right there. Mm-hmm. He had John Gruden, he had Hugh Jackson, he had so many wayward.
Yeah, Josh McDaniels he doesn't really convince me. He really does not.
He never did, and never took the cheese on him.
All right. Well, why don't we just go ahead and get into our? Actually, before we go into our picks, we got to look at how the 3 of us have done so far in our picks here.
Yeah, 12-4 because Natalia picked the Jets over the Dolphins. That was the difference. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Dino had 4 solo picks last week. He went 0-4 in those.
Ooh.
Yes, he picked he picked the Cardinals. He picked the Bengals. He of course failed on the Raiders. I knew that wasn't gonna work out.
Yeah. Do you have a record of our solo picks overall? Like when you add up all the weeks?
No, I'm not doing that though. But all of us are hovering around 500 against the spread. I'm up by 4 games over the tally and 5 over Tim in terms of the straight up department.
Right.
Yeah, week 5 against the spread, we all look at 7, 8, and 1 for each one of us. Nice. And week 5 straight up, 11 and 5. Natalie just did one better. I guess we are all very, very close to those numbers here.
Yeah. I know this is a much better pace for me than last year. I mean, last year was bad for me. But I think it's been better off this year.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and go into this week's matchups here? We'll go ahead and pop the screen up for you, give y'all the list of the games and all the spreads here. And as you'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner, 4 teams on the bye. First week of bye weeks for the NFL. Detroit Lions, Houston Texans, Las Vegas Raiders, and Tennessee Titans. So if any of you fantasy players have any players this week on your roster for any one of those 4 teams, you just either bench them or you get rid of them. That's basically what you got to do.
Yeah.
I know I gotta bench my man Henry, though.
Yeah, Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, Amon-Ra St. Brown, whom Natalie traded to get Kyler Murray this week. Damon Pierce, who is... Did you know Damon Pierce is 4th in the NFL rushing? Did you know that?
How is that possible?
Yeah, I know. How is that possible is right. I mean, it's insane, but...
All right.
Yeah,
well,
he's 2 and 3. I think Saquon's still 1, right? You talk about rushing, right?
Chubb is now 1.
Nick Chubb for Cleveland.
Yeah, it's Saquon's number 2, but Saquon. Anyway, I think there are picks to be made. So without any further ado, let's go.
We will start on the Thursday night football game, which will be seen on Prime Video. The Chicago Bears are at home against the Washington Commanders, and this one is pretty much a pick. Bears only picked by 1. So, Flynn, let's go ahead and get this ring rolling.
Yeah, I just feel bad for Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit, who have to go through another cesspool of a game like they did last week against the Colts and the Broncos. Look, these are 2 of the worst teams in the NFC. The Bears have nothing going. Justin Fields has been one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. But look, I mean, Ron Rivera is so out of touch. He commented earlier yesterday that the difference why everyone else in the division is so good and Washington's bad is the quarterback. Well, the entire thing is bad with Washington. Defense, offensive line play, receivers, quarterback, coaching. It's been a combination of everything. And now he's coming across as arrogant and ignorant. Ron Rivera, I think, is going to be fired as the head coach of the Washington Commanders at the end of the year. And as for this game, I think the Bears squeak by. I think Justin Fields is the better quarterback in this game. I think Matt Eberflus is the better coach in this game. I'll take the Bears to win an ugly one, 18-13.
All right, then, Natalia, what do you see in this snoozer?
Yeah, I can't believe they opened Thursday Night Football with what's basically probably a toilet bowl game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think the Colts Broncos was going to be a toilet bowl game, but it was.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, but I put both of these teams in my in last place in my season predictions for a reason. Neither one of them are any good. It's really just going to come down to defense in this case. Nobody's going to score any big points here. It's going to be a low-scoring game. But, however, I do think the spread here is correct. The Bears will win this one in a snooze fest, 14-10.
Yeah, this will definitely be the snooze fest of the week here. Yeah, Chicago and Washington, they're almost exact same style of teams right now as far as their playing ability. And I'm just going to throw out the score here. It's nothing to write home about. I put it to where neither team's going to get to 20. I'm going to say Chicago 17, Washington 10. Just
pretty close to mine.
Just a snooze fest here. But now we go into the Sunday games. First one here, the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Atlanta to play against the Falcons. 49ers are 5.5-point favorites, and it's another case of where a West Coast team flies all the way to the East Coast to play. So, Flynn, how's that factor?
So, well, one of the reasons why I'm 5-0 in fantasy is because I drafted the 49ers defense. Look, the 49ers have the best defense in the NFL. They have incredible linebacker play. That their ability to get to the quarterback. Their secondary has been awesome all year. This is a tall order for Arthur Smith and the Falcons here. Look, Arthur Smith, I think if he had the right pieces around him, I think the Falcons would be playing better. But I just think the 49ers have so much talent around them. I think the 49ers are going to smash the Falcons and win this game 31-19.
Sounds pretty good score there. All right, Natalie, 49ers, Falcons, what do you see?
Yeah, this one, the Falcons are pretty much a mess right now. Kyler Murray is definitely Kyle Pitts, he's in his sophomore slump. He isn't really doing much. So he's going to have to step up if he wants to gain the respect of his teammates back. Nobody's going to have a decent game on their side. The 49ers are just too good. They're going to easily win this one, 28-17.
Okay, yeah. Atlanta is still kind of a mess. San Francisco is getting their mojo back. I think Jimmy G is trying to pick up the team, and I think he'll do a good job. I'm just going to write down a score here. Let's say San Francisco 27, Atlanta 20. I'm just going to put it right there. Yeah, Niners 20, Niners 27, Falcons 20. That's what I wanted to say here. Next up, we're going to Cleveland. The Browns are going to be at home against the New England Patriots. And the Browns are 3-point favorites against the Patriots. But looks like the Patriots. What am I missing here, Flynn?
Well, I'm missing how the Browns defense has been so poor over the first 5 weeks of the season. I mean, so they have so much trouble stopping the run. Austin Eckler ran all over them on Sunday, and I just think you're going to see the same thing from Ramondre Stevenson this coming weekend because you look at it, doesn't matter who's calling the plays for the Patriots. I think the Patriots will go into Cleveland and upset the Browns. They win this game 21-16.
All right, Natalie.
Yeah, this one was actually one of the harder ones for me to decide, simply because they're both so bad. But I had to choose somebody. But while I do, while I think the Browns will cover the points, the Patriots are still going to win this game. I think they're just slightly better overall. So give me New England to cover the spread, 27-24.
All right. Yeah, I'm seeing a bad team versus a team that's slightly worse. This would probably be another snooze fest for me here, but I can see the Patriots coming into Cleveland and taking down the Browns. Be a close game here. I'm going to take the Patriots to win this one. Give me a score, 23 to say 19.
Ooh, we all picked the underdog.
Yeah, we all have the upset.
I guess I could sound this off for all three of us right here.
Yep. All right. All right, here we go. So, next game.
Sounds a little one-sided to me. We got the New York Jets heading to Lambeau to take on the Green Bay Packers. Packers are 7-point favorites, Flynn.
Yeah, I think this is going to be closer than 7 points. I think that the Packers' offensive line has been so poor. So the offensive line was the big culprit for the Packers' second half collapse last week against the Giants. David Bakhtiari is clearly not up to 100%, and that's a big problem against the defense that features Quinn Williams and Carl Lawson and company. I think the Jets will cover the spread, but I think the Packers will squeak it out barely because I think it's going to be Rodgers and that defense that'll bounce back from poor performance. I'll take the Packers to win 22-19.
Okay, Flynn says Pack wins 22-19. Natalie, what do you say?
Yeah, I gotta. This is actually going to be pretty close. I got to give the Jets a lot of credit. They're playing a lot better than most people anticipated. They're having some pretty nice wins. Yeah, their draft picks are doing really well, especially Breece Hall. He's been phenomenal so far. The defense has actually been pretty respectable. Although Aaron Rodgers is off to a shaky start, I think he's going to bounce back. I do see the Jets doing better than the spread. They're still going to lose this game, but they're going to lose by less than 7. Give me the Packers 28, Jets 23.
Yeah, I also say the Jets will cover the spread here. As Flynn said, they're playing better than what a lot of people are seeing. But that Green Bay offensive line is pretty banged up. But yeah, I'll say the Jets will cover, but the Packers win outright. Give me the Packers by a field goal, 24-21. Give it that way. Next, we go to Indianapolis for an AFC South matchup between the Colts and the visiting Jacksonville Jaguars. And Flynn, see here, the Colts are 2.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I mean, exactly how the Colts going to recover from that atrocious performance on Thursday night last week. Look, the Colts won on Thursday. They won on the road in Denver. But can you actually feel pretty good about them? And also, how can you feel about the Jaguars after they only scored 6 points at home against the Texans on Sunday? Look, I'm going to pick the Jaguars to win the game because I think they have the advantage at quarterback. I think they have the advantage at wide receiver. And I think the Jaguars have the advantage at defense. Look, Shaq Leonard's still banged up. You still don't know what he's been, and that's a big problem. I'm going to take the upset. I'll take the Jaguars to win 24-21.
Oh, all righty then, Natalie.
Yeah, this was actually a pretty close one. Both teams have been playing pretty crappy lately. The Jaguars don't seem to have running backs anymore. Both of them have just collapsed. But I mean, the Colts are down 2 quarterbacks right now. But there's a possibility that Jonathan Taylor will be back for next week. I mean, this was a super close one, but I'm willing to give the Colts the benefit of the doubt here. We have our first split for this is the first game where we're going to be split on something. I'm taking the Colts to cover, but the Colts to win. I think the Jags will just barely cover the spread. 22-20.
All right.
All right, Tim, you're the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I gotta wreck this tie here. I just wish that I just wish Jonathan Taylor would be back and healthy because he really is a good heart and soul of that Indianapolis offense. But I'm kind of seeing Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville, in a way, are a little bit like the Jets. They're playing better than a lot of people expect. They're kind of playing under the radar, I guess. So, actually, let's see here. I am going to, yeah. This sounds pretty tasty. This sounds pretty tasty right here for me. I'm making this my upset special of the week. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars to take down the Colts by a score of 24-20. Hopefully, Jonathan Taylor will be back with the Colts next week, but we'll just see what happens from there.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what happens in Miami as the Dolphins are going to be hosting the Vikings. And the Vikings are coming in at 3-point favorites. So, Flynn,
3
we
points.
see here. Yeah, 3 points.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Vikings. I'm gonna take the Vikings to win and cover. Look, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are banged up. The Dolphins still don't know whether or not Tua is going to be 100%. Byron Jones and Xavier Howard are both banged up. Look, this is going to be a nightmare going up against Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. I think Kirk Cousins is going to tear apart this depleted secondary. I think he's going to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Justin Jefferson is going to have another 100-yard receiving day. I'll take the Vikings to win this game and cover 30-24.
All right, Natalie, how are you seeing this one?
Yeah, the Dolphins are a mess right now. Yeah, I put them in my predictions. I put them in second place and the final playoff spot, but right now it's looking pretty bleak. So we'll have to see how they handle this. I think they're down to their third-string quarterback right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think Teddy Bridgewater might also be out.
Skylar Thompson. Oh, yeah, that's right. Teddy Bridgewater's out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, for as long as they're going to be using their third-string quarterback, the Dolphins are in trouble. So this 3-point spread is way, way too generous. The Vikings are easily going to win this one, 28-14.
Oh, we have a double up right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Miami is just seeing a lot of. It's just bad things happening at the worst possible time. Because it seemed like Miami was just really getting on a roll. Then Tua gets hurt, and now we got the Cheetah is down, and there's a couple of more injuries here and there. And with Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, and Justin Jefferson, they're just going to be way too much for the Dolphins here. I am taking the Minnesota Vikings to take down those Dolphins by a score of 31-20. And by the way, the Minnesota Vikings will be my lock of the week.
Nice.
31-20 was your score?
31-20.
Yep.
Yeah, that was almost mine, but mine will be coming pretty soon.
Yep, mine's coming up pretty soon too.
Let's go down to the Big Easy. We got New Orleans at home taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. And the visiting Bengals are 2-point favorites. Seems like another pick 'em, but what do you see here, Flynn? What do you see?
I'm comfortable picking the Bengals to win. I'm comfortable picking the Bengals to cover. Look, the Bengals have 3 losses this year. One by 3 points, one by 3 points, and one by 2 points. So it's not Cincinnati's been a bad 2 and 3. They've just had trouble closing out games. More often than not, but I just think that this is a much different defense that New Orleans are going to have to face compared to the one that Taysom Hill ran over Seattle against. I think the Bengals are going to win this game 28-24 and cover the 2-point spread.
All
right, Tally, what do you see here?
Yeah, this one was the hardest one for me to pick this week. This one could really go either way. I mean, Alvin Kamara is probably not the same player he once was. The Bengals receivers are all over the place. Taysom Hill, you don't know what the heck he's going to do. It's like he's like that guy with no permanent position. Is he going to be a running back? Is he going to be a receiver? Is he going to be a tight end? Is he going to be a quarterback? It all depends on how they utilize him. But in the end, I think he's actually going to be their difference maker. He's not going to put up the crazy points like he did last time, but Taysom Hill is going to be involved probably like during garbage time, like the last minute or so of the game, and he's going to be the difference maker. I'm taking the underdog here. I'm going to take the Saints to win this one, 31-28.
Interesting.
All right. Well, it's a tiebreaker.
Another one right here. Yeah, you're mentioning, is he going to be a quarterback or running back or wide receiver? I mean, is he going to be like Bobby Boucher? I mean, he was taking on almost every position there. So if there's a little bit of confusion there, then I say advantage goes to the Bengals here. I'm going to say Bengals win by a field goal. They'll win and cover 27-24. Give me the striped Tigers. All right, now we have one that's definitely going to be of interest to my two fellow colleagues here. It's the Baltimore Ravens going to New York to take on the New York Football Giants. The Ravens are coming in at 5-point favorites. And if you guys don't mind, I will comment on this one first because these are your Giants. So let me go ahead and make my statement here. Baltimore, I guess sometimes you never can tell with Lamar Jackson if he's going good game or bad game, but he's been having a few more good games than he has bad games. But don't rest on those Giants. I mean, the Cowboys did beat those Giants pretty good, but the Giants are still in there. We're tied with the Giants in our division. Ravens are 5-point favorites. I'm going to go with the Ravens. However, I believe that the finish will be a little bit closer than the 5-point split. The Giants are going to make them work for it. I think the Giants are going to make them work for it, but I'm going to give it to the Ravens here. Let's get a final score. If I was going to say something, how about 26-23? Baltimore wins, but the Giants cover. So, Flynn, let's hear you first.
This was the single toughest game of the week for me to pick. And both of my fantasy teams are going to be invested in this because I have Lamar Jackson in fantasy. I have my guy Saquon Barkley in fantasy. I think that the Giants have a completely different feel. They are a legitimate football team. I love Brian Dable. I'm finally beginning to sense that Daniel Jones is playing like a franchise quarterback. He was tough. He was he was able to do a lot of different things. Mike Kafka is just a great offensive coordinator. I can't pick against Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is him. Lamar Jackson is a transcendently talented quarterback. He is one of the premier quarterbacks in the NFL. And it's going to be amazing seeing him going up against this old defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale. And it's going to be a terrific game. I think it's going to be one of my favorite games, obviously, because I'm a Giants fan of the Giants of 4-1. But Baltimore showed something to me on Sunday night against Cincinnati. Baltimore showed me that they can play not at their best, but find a way to win. Justin Tucker, I think, is going to kick the go-ahead field goal in the last 5 minutes of the game. I'm going to take the Ravens to win by the same score Tim has. Baltimore 26, New York 23.
Wow. Interesting. So, okay, Natalie, you once lived in New York, but you're still a big Giants fan. What do you guys say?
Well, yeah, New Jersey technically, but yeah, close enough. But yeah, close enough. Yeah, this one could go either way, honestly. But first, I'll open up with my smart aleck comments. Can Kadarius Toney, can Kenny Golladay, can they finally tie Andrew Thomas in touchdown receptions? Well, let's see. I mean, let's hope at least one of them plays. One of them has got to show me something. I don't want to call Kadarius Toney a bust, but I'm on the verge of doing it. But hopefully he'll have a solid game. Both sides, I think, are going to do very well. I honestly could see a slugfest here. My score is going to be slightly higher than both of you. I mean, like Flynn said, I think it's going to come down to the last few minutes. I do have while Saquon Barkley is going to have a monster game, I think he's just going to come up short. Tucker kicks a game-winning field goal the last minute of the game, 32-29.
Interesting.
So Natali says a field goal will make the difference, but he's got a little bit of a higher score.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll see how that one goes here. The last of the early games for Sunday, Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Bucks come in at 8.5-point favorites, which I think sounds kind of about right, Flynn.
Yeah, I just think this is a nightmare for the Steelers and my guy Kenny Pickett. Look, I really liked some of the things I saw from Kenny Pickett. I know said that the stats didn't pick up on that, but I eventually Kenny Pickett is going to be for his toughness, his ability to be a great teammate. He saw that the entire way. But going up against Levante David and that defense, I just think it's an impossible task for Kenny Pickett in his first home start at home. I'm going to take the Buccaneers to win this game 24-10. And since this is the widest margin of victory I have for anyone this week, the Buccaneers over is my lock of the week.
All right, Flynn is locking up them Bucks. The tally.
Yeah. The Steelers are a real mess right now. I knew they wouldn't be that great, but I didn't expect them to be this bad. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for Kenny Pickett to get into the swing of things. I mean, little by little, the Bucs are getting their wide receivers back, so that's obviously going to be too much for them. I don't even think they're going to cover the 8 points. It's going to be very lopsided. This is also my lock of the week. I have the Bucs winning 32-13.
Jeez.
Yeah, of course, got his lock of the week. Of course, I already had my lock of the week, but this probably would have been my other choice here because, I didn't think the Steelers would be this bad. They finally decided to bench Trubisky in favor of Pickett. But, I mean, going up against the GOAT and all of his weapons, I mean, there ain't no way. So, I'm taking the Buccaneers to dominate this one by a score of 31-17. And by the way, for our technical director, Irene Namer, she's recovering in the hospital. Get well soon. Of course, I got to do this.
Hating from the sideline, a flag on the play, like Julio with them.
Just had to throw that in there. So, all right. Anyway, we're going into the late Sunday afternoon game, starting in Los Angeles, where the Rams are going to be coming in mad as hell, and the Carolina Panthers are coming in. And this is the highest spread of the week. Rams at 10.5. Flynn, what do you think?
Look, the Rams are through their first 5 game weeks, the Rams are the lowest scoring offense from a defending Super Bowl champion ever. It's just 16 points a game. But listen, this has nothing to do with the coaching at all. It's just that they have problems blocking. They have problems. They have problems with the talent. They're unable to pass. They're unable to pass block. They're unable to run block. Cooper Kupp is a one-man show, and nothing, and no one else has been able to show up for the Rams. They're showing why the Ocean's 11 approach was so risky. Fortunately for them, it paid off with the Super Bowl victory last year. But I'm gonna take the Rams to win. I just think the Panthers aren't talented enough, and it's gonna be their first game with Steve Wilks as the interim head coach. Remember, Wilks coached one season for Arizona as the head man there. He's gonna be the interim for the rest of the season, but I think the Panthers are gonna be looking for a new head coach in the off season, and the Steve Wilks era will begin with a dud. I'll take the Rams to win this game 29-17 over the Panthers.
All right, Natalie, what do you see here?
Yeah, this one I think is almost a pick 'em. I mean, both both teams have their share of issues right now, but the Panthers' issues are far worse. Basically, the Rams are getting by on three pieces. Well, actually, two pieces. Three pieces. Cup, the Matt Gay, and their defense. That's really all you need, I guess, for when you're the Rams. It seems to work. And since defense wins games, I got to give it to them here. However, I do think the 10-point spread is too high. I do think it's going to come down to a one-score game, actually. So give me the Rams 23-18.
23-18. That sounds like a very, very interesting score right there. Like I said, Rams are coming in mad as hell after the Cowboys just totally dominated them right there. They're going to be coming in mad. They got Carolina coming in. Carolina's not that good, even though they now have an interim head coach. Matt Rule is out. But I'm actually going to go. I say the Rams will win and cover this one. I'm going to take the Rams to bounce back with a big one, 31-20. Taking the Rams on that one. Looks like we have a late afternoon snooze fest here. It's the Arizona Cardinals against the Seattle Seahawks. The Cardinals are coming in to Seattle as 2.5-point favorites. So Flynn,
I think Cliff Kingsbury is gonna regret how and Kyler Murray regret how they handled the end of that game against Philly. Listen, this was a great opportunity for the Cardinals to go to 4-2 without DeAndre Hopkins, who was serving the last game of a 6-game suspension this weekend, and that was a major missed opportunity for the Cardinals, and I think it's going to come back and bite them when they miss the playoffs this season. But I digress. 3-3, I suppose, is okay with that. The Cardinals, Kyler Murray's going to tear out the worst defense, one of the worst defenses in the NFL. I think he's going to tee off. I think he's going to have 100 yards rushing and 250 yards passing. Give me the Cardinals to win this game 31-24 over Seattle.
all right, Natalie, what you got?
Yeah. And I sure hope Flynn is right about that, considering I just traded for him. This one was actually kind of a close one for me, but somehow this little voice in my head told me the Seahawks are back. Geno Smith he's having a good year. I gotta give him props. He's done quite well. Like, who would have thought a couple weeks ago he would lead his team to 45 points? Yeah, who saw that coming? Nobody. Yeah, now the Seahawks are going to give their new rookie a shot, their draft pick, Kenneth Walker. He's going to be starting now, considering Rashad Penny is out for the year. You know what? Metcalf, Lockett, they're still solid. Why not? I'm going to win it. I'm going to take the Seahawks in this one, 31-28. All right, and Tim's the tiebreaker again.
Yeah, again.
Seems like I'm either the one-man solo band, or Tim finally goes with me, or Flynn has his first solo. We'll see.
I'm sorry, but until I gotta see something more from Seattle right now. I mean, it just. I mean, Geno Smith. I don't know if he's lucky or. I mean, I don't know. Geno Smith really never impressed me ever since he came into the league all these years ago. And Arizona hasn't been really impressive there. But so what we got? 2.5-point favorites. Cardinals. Yeah, I'm going to take the Cardinals. Moderate score game here. Give me the Cardinals 24-21. 24-21. Seattle's got to show me a little bit more than what they have been so far. But we have the first of actually two pretty good marquee matchups. We have the Buffalo Bills going into Arrowhead Stadium taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs may have pulled it out last night against the Raiders, but the Bills right now are billed as 2.5-point favorites. So, Flynn, this looks like this game could be some really good eye candy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be the first game where Tim and I pick opposite in a couple weeks, because last week all of our we all picked the same teams, and so far we've all agreed with the same things. But look, I think look, you know I'm obsessed with Patrick Mahomes, you know I'm obsessed with Andy Reid. But I just think there's something different with the Buffalo Bills this year. I mean, the Bills were the team I picked preseason to win the Super Bowl. I think their defense is better than last year. I think Josh Allen is better than he was last year. So I think this is going to be a game where the Bills will redeem themselves for that crazy playoff loss last year. I'm going to take the Bills to win this game 41-38.
The tally. What do you see here? This is a good one.
Yeah, this one is going to be a super close one. I think this one's going to be a slugfest. This game is going to be by far the highest combined point total. Both quarterbacks are going to be hot. I see each of them throwing probably a good 4 touchdown passes, roughly. Both running backs are going to do well. I mean, Kelsey's probably going to have another monster game. You're probably going to get a good game from Diggs. It's definitely going to come down to the very last minute of the game. Yeah, my scoring prediction is super similar to Flynn's, except it's the other team. I'm going to give the home team the slight edge. Give me the Chiefs 41-39.
I am going to go the exact same score as Flynn, only this time I've got Kansas City putting down the tomahawk on those Bills. It's even though I say this will be a close game, and if this game is televised in my area, I am going to be watching this one.
Everybody is getting it. It's the only 4:25 game on CBS, so everybody gets it.
Oh, so everybody gets it. So most likely we'll be getting Jim Nance and Tony Romo on the call.
Yep. Jim Nance and Tony Romo and Tracy Wolfson are on the call for this game.
Oh, and what a game that is going to be!
Wow.
And
we all have 41 for the winning team. Interesting. All of us have 41 for the winning team.
Yeah. And what a matchup we have on Sunday night. This is going to be an all-out war right here. These two NFC East division teams who have had a huge rivalry ever since 1989. Oh my gosh, this is going to be brutal.
I want you to go first for this one. I got to see your insight on this.
Yeah, control of the NFC East is on the line here. We got the Dallas Cowboys at 4-1 taking on those filthy Philadelphia Chickens, who are still unbeaten, 5-0. And right now, the Eagles, and I use that word loosely, they come in at home at 4.5-point favorites. Natalie, I don't know if this would be better than Bills Chiefs. I mean, this is a division rivalry game here.
Oh yeah.
So,
but yeah, I'm deferring it to you. I want you to go first.
Oh, you gonna let me go first?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We should defer to you first, since you're the fan of the team.
Okay. Well, in that case, Cowboys have last 5 games, their defense has just been nothing short of phenomenal. They have held each of their opponents to less than 20 points in every game. They gave up 19 to the Bucks. They gave up, I think, 17 to the Bengals. They gave up 16 to the Giants. They gave up 10 to the Commanders. And this past week, they gave up 10 to the defending Super Bowl champs, the Rams. That is what I call consistency right there, and all less than 20 points. Micah Parsons, oh my gosh, I cannot stop singing the praises of this kid ever since we drafted him last year. Defensive Rookie of the Year, now a front runner for Defensive Player of the Year. He has taken down all of these quarterbacks. He has taken down Tom Brady. He has taken down Joe Burrow. He has taken down Daniel Jones. He has taken down Carson Wentz. He took down Matthew Stafford last week. And I say this week, at least one time. Give me just one good time that he can take down Jalen Hurts. Now, that Eagles offense is amazing. The A.J. Brown trade, I think, was the huge difference for the Eagles offense. But I'm telling you right now, Micah Parsons is surrounded by a lot of great talent. Trayvon Diggs, he is a defending machine. He can get interceptions at will. We have young guys like Donovan Wilson. We got Jaron Kearse, Malik Hooker. And we have the veteran DeMarcus Tank Lawrence, who had that fumble recovery, ran it back to the house. Dak Prescott, I think, will probably still not be quite ready to go. So we'll probably have Cooper Rush again under center. I still think they need to bench Zeke Elliott and start Tony Pollard. I actually believe Pollard will finish with more rushing yards this year than Zeke Elliott. Y'all can put that down. So I'm just going to go ahead and make my prediction right now. I see another upset here. Eagles are going to be in for a shocker. I've already gave my upset of the week, but this is another upset right here. I am taking the Dallas Cowboys to go into Philadelphia and whoop the tar out of them Eagles, even though the Eagles are going to make them work for it. I say give me the Cowboys by a score of 35-30.
Wow.
Ooh. Oh, I'm just tired of saying all that. Flynn, go.
Yeah, but look, I'm gonna take the Eagles. I think the Eagles have the better roster. I think they have. I think they have the better offensive line. I think the Cowboys have not faced an offensive line this good this season. So I think Jason Kelce and Lane Johnson are going to be crucial in this victory. And the Eagles have a great rushing attack for a reason. I think the way Howie Roseman put this team together. I love how you mentioned the A.J. Brown trade. I love how you mentioned the draft that they had. When you look at the fixing holes on that defense, I think James Bradbury is going to be great in keeping Michael Gallup in check, while Darius Slay will do the same thing with CeeDee Lamb. I think this is going to be a competitive game. So I have no problem taking the Eagles in the game. I also have no problem grabbing the points here with the Dallas Cowboys. I think it's going to come down to a game-winning field goal. Eagles win 24-22 over the Cowboys.
Okay. Natalie, what do you see in this big matchup?
Yeah, I think this one is going to be very close. I think the Cowboys are definitely going to give the Eagles a run for their money. They're going to make them sweat a bit. They're going to make them work really hard for this. This team is probably going to come like super close. I'm going to make it interesting. I think they're going to duke it out all the way into overtime, and it's going to come down to a field goal. It's just going to come down to who has the possession first. I think Dallas is going to have to punt it away in their first position of overtime, and the Eagles will take it. They'll get in field goal range. They'll kick the game winner. 33-30, Eagles in OT.
Oh, boy. Boy, to see that game go in overtime, oh, my gosh. So,
yeah, this team is going to come the closest to handing them their first loss.
Yeah.
They're going to lose eventually, but not quite. They've shown they're vulnerable.
I had the Eagles starting the season 8-1, so
interesting.
He did.
Wait, with who? With losing to who?
Washington, but that didn't happen.
Well, that's not okay. Oh, so earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like 8-0, and then they lose.
No. Okay. The Monday night game, AFC West matchup. The Denver Broncos going into SoFi Stadium taking on the LA Chargers. Chargers are in at 5-point favorites. So, Flynn, what kind of Chargers team can we see here?
My question is, what type of Broncos team we're going to see? I was so fired up for when the schedule came out. I mean, Broncos, Chargers. I think two of the three best teams. In my view, were two of the three best teams in the division. They will both be. That I was excited when Monday Night Football on my birthday would have those two teams matched up. But instead of being excited of Russell Wilson against Justin Herbert, it's about Brandon Staley against Nathan Hackett, two guys who can't get out of their own ways. I mean, but both teams have been so poorly coached over the first 5 weeks of the season. I have to come to my senses, and I got to pick the Chargers to win this game. I think Herbert. I think Herbert is him, and I just think the Broncos have way too many problems offensively that they're just completely out of sync. And Russell Wilson does not look like a great fit with the Green Bay offense that Hackett brought over with him to Denver. I'm gonna pick the Chargers to win the game 20-17. I think the defense keeps it close, so I'll take the Broncos with the points to tally.
All right.
Yeah, this one's going to be a pretty interesting one. I mean, the Broncos losing Williams, that's going to be a big blow. I mean, Melvin Gordon, he's kind of getting up there, so he's not the same running back he once was. You can't compare him to Eckler. Eckler has been lights out. Although the Broncos defense has been respectable, they're not going to be able to get through their offense. Even without Keenan Allen, they've been doing just fine. Mike Williams has been stepping in as a very solid wide receiver one. And yeah, he's going to be their big difference maker. And this is going to be borderline, but I don't even think the Broncos are going to cover the points. They're going to lose by more than that. I think it's going to be 32-25 Chargers.
Ooh, 32-25 Chargers. Interesting there. I'm kind of leaning on the same way Flynn is leaning here. It's going to be a little bit close. I'm going to say a field goal is going to decide this one late in the game. I'm going to go ahead and take the Chargers in here by a score of 27-23. The Broncos, to me, are kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Discombobulated, I guess. And the Chargers,
I'm gonna wind up being dead wrong on the Broncos because I picked them to play on Championship Sunday. But yeah, it's even far worse than anybody ever imagined.
Yeah, so I'm taking. Oh, Scott. Yeah, I'm going to go. It's going to be a close game, but I got the Chargers winning this one 27-23. And that will that does it for week 6 here. And
yeah, let's review the solos for the week.
Yeah, so I have one solo, which is Buffalo over Kansas City, and Tally has multiple solos. He's got New Orleans over Cincy. He's got Seattle over Arizona, and I believe you Colts over the Jaguars.
Yes.
Also, Tim has Dallas over Philly, so we all have solo this week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I basically control my destiny again.
Yeah, and also that we have 4 teams on buys. The Lions. I mean, the Lions got shut out against the Patriots last week, which is wild. I mean, and the Texans won their first game. They beat the Jaguars last week.
Mm-hmm.
That was a shocker.
The
Raiders. The Raiders are 1-4. We talked about them. The Titans, after starting 0-2, they've reeled in 3 straight wins. They took down Washington because with the strength of Derrick Henry, who was outstanding last week for Tim, even though it did wind up it didn't matter in that matchup that Tim was in against Putnam.
Yeah, it didn't quite matter with me because I'm still looking for Derrick Henry to have a real big game here because he's just not quite getting it like he has been the last few years. So we'll just have to see what happens. So We'll talk about the Lions and Texans, and Raiders and Titans next week. They'll be back in action next week. And of course, we will be in action next week. Same time, same place. Meanwhile, go to the description area, follow the links, and you'll get John Flynn with Hooked on Sports. He'll talk more about the roughing the passer, quarterback sack, all this stuff going on here. He's got more stuff to talk about. So y'all be sure and listen to him. Flynn, Natalie, always great having you guys with me. Y'all make this pretty good.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. And I want to thank all y'all for watching. Make your picks. See if you can pick better than we can. And we will be back with you same time, same place right here. Watching on YouTube, watching on Twitch. Thanks so much for joining us. For John Flynn, for John Natali, I'm Tim McClellan. Thanks for joining us. Remember, I forgot what I was going to say now. I had
Was it about the
something in
lineups?
mind.
Was it the lineups?
The lineups?
Yeah. Was that what you're going to mention? Remember the teams that are on bye. Set your lineups. Were you going to say that?
Yes. Set all your lineups. Reshuffle your lineups if you're new to bye weeks are here.
And that means you, Tim. You
Right.
I mean, because you have Derrick Henry on bye. You have someone else on bye.
Yeah, I'm going to be. I kind of made a couple of changes here a little bit, but I'm going to review everything and see what I can do here. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right. Well, that will do it here for John Flynn, John Natali, Tim McClellan here. Good night. God bless you. And as always, be a good sport. See ya. Oh, wait, here's the right one.